Hello, I hope you're doing well. We are doing Afrikaans lessons, and today we'll be adding an object to our sentences. We're expanding the words that we can use and using them in the correct order. The previous lessons we looked at the subject or the subject pronoun, we looked at the verb, a very short introduction to the main verbs that you could use, and today we're using those main verbs again, but we're also adding an object and the details around an object. So let's do our greeting and then we can go for it. Goeienaand, hoe gaan dit? Kan nie klaar nie. Ek is opgewonde. Okay, so that hoekom can be used as a why, like, well, why are you excited? I don't know what you're talking about. So that hoekom is actually a good way just to ask someone like hoekom, why, to get more information. And if you didn't quite get what they said, if you say hoekom, they might expand on what they said. Another note that I want to make here is naand. Naand is only used when greeting. In general, when we talk about the evening, we would say aand. Ek gaan vanaand of dit is aand. But we wouldn't say naand. So naand is the only time it's used specifically with greeting. So just so that you know that when are we going to eat tomorrow, and if you say môre naand, that won't be correct. It would be môre aand. Okay, so just to tell you, we're doing STOMPI again, looking at objects, specifically the main verbs, and in the next lesson we'll be expanding STOMPI again, but with helping verbs. Just oopsie, let me make myself a bit smaller. Just a reminder of all the pronouns. I didn't recognize it for a moment. All the pronouns that we've done. We're focusing on the subject pronouns, but as you know, when we look at STOMPI, you can actually have a few words as the tall woman, die lang vrou. So you don't just need hy or sy. You can actually have a few words in there. And there we have all the verbs. We are still focusing on the main verbs in the present tense. And the next lessons we'll be doing future and past tense. But we're just looking at the main verbs in present tense. We're adding an object today. And the note that you should make about the object is that it needs an article. It needs an indefinite or definite article, an a or an an. And just as a side note, when you say apple, it sounds like the A in apple, although it's an N. So this is it's a contraction for in, which is one, so it would be double EN, but it's okay. So don't confuse the word with the sound, the letter with the sound. So it's and D, and is always written in lowercase, unless no, there's no unless. It's always written in lowercase. The next word would be capitalized. So if you have an in a sentence, if it's in the sentence, obviously it would be lowercase, but if you start a sentence with an it would always be lowercase, and then the second word would be a capital letter. We'll do a few examples. Die honde, roomhuis. Wiskunde. So math is just, you don't have one maths, it's just maths. A koeldrank, a epos, die mense, a drankie, and die twee broodjies. So wiskunde being an uncountable noun, but if it's a countable noun, it gets the article. Musiek, a gitaar, a besigheid, a sakeman, a bord, kos, a kelnerin, a bestuurder, a chocolade, a bier. So let me actually, I want to do a few syllables with you here. Let's look at besigheid. Besigheid. So you're going to chop it before the consonant there, between these two consonants. So you have besigheid. Sakeman sake man. Sa long A in a sake man. There here with kalnerin, you're going to chop it between the two consonants. Kal na nerin. Bestuurder. So if you would chop it between that S and a T, you would just not have a word. So you need bestuurder. Okay. Let's look at the verbs as well. You will be using Quizlet. I'll introduce you to Quizlet, that you can click on the top left, you can click on learn, and that gives you multiple choice questions. You can play the game match, where you drag and drop the meanings of the different words. Please use Quizlet. It is a really good way for you to match what the words mean. Eventually you need to say the words as well and hear them, but just to build your vocab, and that's something that you definitely need to do if you're an absolute beginner. You have to build your vocab. That will definitely help you gain momentum. Otherwise the sentences are just gibberish. You need to identify the words in between. Okay, let's look at the werkwoorde, the main verbs. You can echo with me. Hoor, eet, leer, drink, skryf, ken, onthou, koop, proe, speel, was, aflewer. I've added this was here because it's obviously the same meaning as what. It can be was as in past tense of is, but it could also be was as in wash yourself. Just an overview, we're focusing on main verbs, het and sal, het and is. And let's look at some sentences. Ons leer wiskunde. Jy skryf 'n e-pos. Julle hoor musiek. 'n man drink 'n bier. Die vrou ken baie mense. You can pause for a moment just if you want to go through the vocab. What can you see? Subject, verb and object. And these objects, if it was a countable, uncountable noun, had an article. Okay, an a or a d. And that's it. That's like adding an object to a sentence. Let's look at is. Subject is an object. Sy is 'n kelnerin. Hy is 'n sakeman. Hulle is die bestuurders. So they are all these things. She is, he is, they are. You can see this is only is in Afrikaans. There's no are or am or were in Afrikaans. Is it easy? I hope it is. Okay, let's look at het. Ons het 'n besigheid. Hy het 'n gitaar. As he has it. Ek het 'n gitaar. Sy het 'n kar. Sy het 'n waterbottel. Subject, verb and object. And if the object is countable, uncountable, it gets a or a d if it's countable. Okay, I just added this extra one just with an is because we did it in the previous lesson, so that you can just see that subject, verb and adjective after that you don't always just need the object, but you can have an adjective as well with your emotions. Ek is honger, ons is gelukkig. Okay, so just as a side note, although this doesn't have an object. And there you have it. You have made your first sentences, or you have participated in making and learning sentences with an object in. The only thing to remember about adding the object is that a or a d. And there you go. So if you know a few subject pronouns, which you do, you know a few verbs, you can take them from the list. And you know a few objects. Bob's your uncle. You can make present tense sentences. Time words will come when we're looking at past and future. And then it's a bit longer, and a bit longer, and a bit longer. Jy kan amper Afrikaans praat. You can almost speak Afrikaans. Lekker dag. Bye-bye.